Well, good evening and welcome to the Psychic Coffee Shop. Yes, it was a shorter intro than normal. That's okay. Our intro will be back tomorrow, on Friday. Let's see, we're kind of updating things and changing them a little around here to look a little different. And of course, that comes some growth and some change, and things don't get moved over, and that happens.
Hey, we're getting there.
I know.
I think it's a pretty new studio.
I think it is a pretty new studio. I don't think I like it. It's just got to take some time to get things moved in, and get some updates done to it. Since things happen, things occur. It's life, which has kind of been this whole week of it's life.
Yeah.
Anything
and everything.
Yeah, starting with my bank, who apparently thinks that it's important that I decide who my beneficiaries are.
Yeah, guys, he was not happy about that one earlier. Oh, that was a whole meltdown moment. Like, my bank thinks I'm too old and I'm going to die.
Mm-hmm.
Which I meant to look and see if that was a new legal thing. Which
yes, you did.
There we go. I'm just curious. Is it a new thing? Is it a new what prompted it?
Mm-hmm.
It's a thing.
Yeah, it's an annoying thing.
Well, I know it's annoying, but okay, I'm not immediately seeing a requirement, but you got hit on that for 2 banks, actually.
Yes. It's like their marketing team went, oh, wow, we should also start pumping him for life insurance.
Ow.
Yeah.
Ow.
Exactly. Oh. Ow. Hi, Dottie.
Hey,
hi, darling. How are you? I hope you're having an amazing evening.
Yes.
Yes. For those that haven't seen, you guys need to go check out Dottie the Psychic's channel. You might find a character guest on one of her videos.
Yes. And who was the official winner of our 50% off?
That was Brenda Bryant. She is the official winner for guessing the character.
Yes, though she's not in yet.
She's not in yet.
She will be here a little
bit. Yeah.
That's true.
So there's been some interesting things in the news. Apparently one of the Capitol riot suspects has a lovely, lovely interest in being truthful. Now, granted, we're going to take a deep dive after I get done reading all the case briefs or watching them play out. But this one has a little sense of humor.
Yeah. This is a fun one. So yeah. So the T-shirt he wore on January 6th was a photograph of President Donald Trump. It said "Take Back America," and I was there, Washington D.C., January 6th. Blah blah blah. Yeah, he was arrested in it.
Yeah, Garnet Miller.
Yeah, everything. And what gets me is when he was arrested, he calls his mother and says, I don't feel that I've done anything wrong, and now I'm being locked up. He made a lot of threats that day. Threats to basically when AOC tweeted impeach, he tweeted back assassinate AOC.
Yes. Which is a federal crime. Let's get this correct. I don't like Trump a gun. Now former President Trump a useless. But I didn't tweet impeach. I did, echo the tweet to impeach.
Mm-hmm.
I haven't made any threats on federal officers, stored in any government buildings, or told the government how messed up they are from a tarot reading.
But we've definitely written some people.
Oh, I've written
very strongly worded messages.
Yes, like you should be fired from your job. You don't deserve the pay that I'm paying you. Pink slip. Like, you need a pink slip. You went to run. Why did you run for West Virginia if you were only going to represent your buddies in Virginia?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's not that we've been nice. Like, ultimately, it's not that we've been nice.
I'm not nice as an employer. I don't have to be nice.
Well, but my whole point being, it's not that we've been nice and just been like, okay, well, it's just another day here.
Mm-hmm.
We've had our strongly worded moments. We've not threatened anyone's life.
No.
I mean, I don't know why this is hard for anyone to understand, but hey.
But again, they've not brought him up on that charge of threatening a elected official life, which they should. Yeah. They brought him up on storming the Capitol.
Well, he's been indicted on 12 counts: civil disorder, obstruction of official proceeding, assault, resisting or impeding officers.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
Where is, the lovely threatening an elected official? Where is the attempted homicide? Where is the attempted kidnapping? Where, we have all this evidence on these people. They provided it for us.
Mm-hmm.
Why are we not seeing harder charges?
Yeah.
I am tired of soft shoeing these idiots. This is how it's like gun control. You don't soft shoe gun control. You don't soft shoe this stuff because it doesn't work. You've got to get in there. You got to hit them hard and you got to make them pay. 20 years in jail automatically. We have you on videotape. You're there. This isn't a deep state thing. Enjoy federal hard labor prison. Matter of fact, it was federal property. Let's make it a military prison.
Well, there you go. Although I will say the part of the story where I lost it, because the story's already kind of from the perspective of he was arrested wearing the t-shirt, it gets funnier. So he showed up at the Capitol with, tactical gear, all this, your normal, like, I'm afraid to, go to Walmart without my gun kind of thing, the I'm a badass. He remains jailed in Oklahoma City. His transportation to Washington, D.C. is on hold because he broke his collarbone while playing soccer in the recreation yard at the Dallas jail. That's the point where I lost it on this story. I'm like, yeah. Either that is the hardest game. Like, I don't know. Do we need to bring in Donna? Should we have contacted Donna for this evening? Like, how tough is rec yard soccer at a jail?
Right.
Like, I'm just like, I don't know. Is this like every bad, like, inner city prison movie we've ever seen ever?
Right.
Or is this like country club style? He literally just like slipped, fell, and broke his collarbone.
Right. But see, here's the thing. His lawyer's already lying to the press. It's lying to everything else. Nevertheless, he has no history of violence. He didn't engage in any acts of violence in connection with the charged offenses, unlike many others that have been previously been released. Yes, he did. He published a threat of bodily harm to an elected official. He trespassed. He had on him rope, technical gear, a gun on federal property. That is violent behavior.
Well, I'm looking at it as if we're going to count, syringes as, drug paraphernalia. I think rope and tactical gear should be considered violence paraphernalia.
Yes.
Like you're ready, like whether or not you're capable or whether or not you did anything, I'm sorry, this is a violence kit.
Exactly.
You had a violence kit.
Mm-hmm.
You know, you're in a place with other people that have acted violently.
Right.
It's a violence kit.
Right. And, you know,
you didn't go there to play nice and hand out water and tend the ill.
Right. Expressing regret for his actions. No, he was whining to his mommy that he was in jail and didn't think he had done anything wrong.
Yeah. I like the whole situation. Every single one of them have been virtually hilarious.
Right.
For the I didn't do anything wrong, and it's like, yeah, that wasn't a peaceful protest. Like, you're not getting this.
Right.
Like, yeah.
Like, and threatening on Instagram in at least 10 posts. So that means there had to be pictures, because you have to have a picture for an Instagram post. Racial hate crime behavior. Come on, prosecutor, step it up. I am not a lawyer and I can see the charges. Stop going light on these people.
Oh, absolutely. Like, and I don't know what's inspiring them to go lightly.
Soft shoe. We don't want to piss anybody off. Furthermore, it's Oklahoma. You know, one state over in Utah, there's a new law about what can be on your cell phone and what do the companies have to block from your cell phone.
What?
Yes.
Oh, God. That sounds like a tech article from hell for Friday.
Oh, yes. Very much for Friday. You know, these are the problems. We have soft shoe government on hard issues. Every one of these rioters should have a charge of treason. A federal charge of treason.
I don't see why we don't.
Right. You know,
like, I'm not following it.
Right. You know, Harper's Ferry, John Brown. These are classic, the same thing, except instead of a armory, it was our nation's capital.
Mm-hmm.
We don't have people sitting there watching him do this. We have it on recorded video for jurors to do it. This is a slam dunk case for treason. Out of the 200 and some that I've seen, I've not seen one charge of treason yet.
No.
And they should have to be on a registry also. Point blank, put them on a registry.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, I don't get why this has been so difficult.
Yeah. But we're going to do a special episode sometime next month, just looking at the Capitol riot charges and naming and shaming for the hell of it.
There we go.
All right. So you brought an article, man. I was like, oh, I wonder how much the property is going to go up for.
Aww.
Well, there's some beautiful property I wouldn't mind owning.
Well, okay. 1 second. I'm trying to get there. Oh, that's not the right one.
I'm talking about the church article, dear.
I know. But yeah, so U.S. church membership falls below majority for first time. In 2020, 47% of U.S. adults belong to a church, synagogue, or mosque, down more than 20 points from the turn of the century. Change is primarily due to rise in Americans with no religious preference.
Mm-hmm.
And this is a fun chart because it starts in 1937 and goes to 2020. We start at 73%. We hit a high of 76%. We remain in the 70 percentile, basically, through, roughly 87.
Mm-hmm.
And we dipped briefly below 70% to 68 and 69% or thereabouts. We go back to 70% in 2000, and it's steadily decreased almost every year since.
Nope.
Like, it's never reached 70 percentile again.
Nope. In 2000, it was at 47%. So if they dropped more than 50%, that means 27%.
Well, no. In 2000, it was right at, it looks like just a little below 70%, like 69% maybe. And then by 2020, it's at 47%. It just fell off a cliff.
Right. And it continues to drop. So, pagans, we need to get some spaghetti dinners going. I understand there will probably be some property up for grabs very soon.
Mm-hmm. Though what we really should need to look at, and I think we noticed that, let's see. And then the other part of this is, for those that have a religious affiliation, currently only 60% are actually in or are a church member.
Mm-hmm.
But I think the fun thing to look at, and I know we were seeing that a few years back, is that it looked like, though it hadn't caught up, non-Christian, non-Christian, non-Muslim, non-Jewish, that segment, you're more spiritual, you're more, witchy, Wiccan, pagan, that category was growing.
Mm-hmm. And still is.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. So, yeah, I want to see what that did in 2020. That was the one thing I meant, another thing I meant to look up. Mm-hmm. Sorry, guys, it's been a weird, crazy week.
Yeah, you've been working on graphics and just getting soaked into it, and that's okay.
Well, it has to be okay. We had clients who needed stuff.
I know.
You needed stuff.
Well, I've needed stuff for a very long time.
I know, but you got pretties.
Uh-huh. But no, Catholics are losing 18%. Protestants are down 9%. Men are down 18%. Women are down 20 points.
Mm-hmm.
There's some large things here. Independents and Democrats left most of the churches 18 and 25%. Conservatives, 14%. Liberals, 21%. And we've seen this. I've seen this in the churches over 30 years of the churches changing. We've talked about on the show, the church of today is not the church that my father built now 30 years ago.
Oh, yeah. Well, and the other fun part is, and I think it was one you skipped over, yes, 25 percentage points for the East, like demographically, North, South, East, Midwest, 25% there, but the South lost 16%.
Right.
Like, that's a lot.
Yeah.
Like, this is the Bible Belt.
Right.
It's losing a double-digit number of people. Like, well, I don't know. Are we getting towards post-religion?
I think we're getting towards more. I don't think it's post-religion. What I think it is I think that we're getting post-bullcrap. We want connection with people. We want connection with society. We want connection with something that speaks to us. And
this is meaningfully.
Right.
Like, I think this gospel of prosperity concept, which kind of swept through, like if you look back at the 80s, there was, a massive sweep of people to, prosperity gospel towards the whole, like, we're going to, the quiverful movement, the all of that, the televangelist situation, the mega church situation. There was a big push to that in the 80s,
right?
And that has slowly just for without being mean, a lot of people died off, but we also ended up with a fair number of people who've walked away.
Yeah. Hi, Devin. And that's because they're not finding what they need at the church. Point blank. They're finding it at a circle. They're finding it at the coffee shop. They're finding it in somebody's living room. And it may not be a discussion of God and how the human race is so terrible. It may be a discussion about, so what's really going on in your household and how can we build your communication? And where's our where's your love at? And what's your happy spot at? And where's your mental health at?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, and it was like what got me was some friends of mine. Like I always had this like envisioned idea of what church ought to be.
Mm-hmm.
You know, this is a place you turn to in crisis. This is a place that should improve your life.
Mm-hmm.
This is a place that you should feel comfortable.
Mm-hmm.
And this is a place that should improve you,
Mm-hmm.
like as a human being,
Right.
in terms of like your mind, your spirit, all of it.
Right.
And I had friends that were going to this church, and basically they got signed up for everything.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, you're going to teach Sunday school, you're going to teach vacation Bible school, you're going to help clean the church, you're going to help with these things, blah blah blah. Just every time they went, they were being like voluntold.
Well,
To
they were
go
being
do something
ministers
else.
at the time, which I believe one of them is a minister.
Well, was a lay minister, yes.
Yes.
And yeah, or which I get, but at the same time, it was getting to a point, it was like they worked,
Mm-hmm.
and then they worked at the church,
Mm-hmm.
and then all they were ever were after that was exhausted.
Right.
Like drained, tapped out, financially drained and tapped out,
Mm-hmm.
because every time they're showing up, like pop another 20 in the collection plate.
Right.
Or buy this, or go run this, go use your gas, go, take for, whatever, and do this for the church.
Right.
And
But
I just had, okay, go ahead.
But, and I've said this many times, I grew up literally, my second home was the church because my father was a minister there. So we were there Monday night for Bible study, Tuesday night to clean the church, Wednesday night for praise and worship. Thursday night is choral rehearsal. Friday night is praise and worship. Saturday night, praise and worship, twice on Sunday.
Mm-hmm.
That's the life of a Christian minister. And then if you got extra things like Vacation Bible School, Revival, which, by the way, Revival at that time was once every quarter, board meetings, deacon meetings, all that, that's minister life. Because at one time, that minister life was all that mattered. But the church didn't keep that up. And now granted, I don't believe when we visited, they were still at the same church.
Oh, no. This was many years before.
Yeah.
But yeah, I just like, we ended up having like this moment where I just kind of looked at them and I'm like, what are you doing?
Right.
Like, I don't get it.
Mm-hmm.
Like, all I hear, like being nice, all I hear is you're complaining about it.
Mm-hmm.
Like and rightfully so. It's like you're worn out. Like you're both working full-time jobs, and then you have a second full-time job.
Yeah.
I would be worn out too.
Yeah.
Like I get that aspect of it, but it's just like, what are you getting out of this? Because I don't hear that part of it.
Right.
And I think for a lot of people, like, and not just necessarily in their specific situation, but I think for a lot of people, it just became too much work.
Right.
Like, and it became too political. It became too, it became less of everything it ought to have been.
Mm-hmm.
And too much of the things that, like, this is just another job.
Mm-hmm. And
like,
see,
already
that's
worked.
the problem, that looking from the outside, and I will do this from a pagan perspective and a minister perspective. Looking at it from the outside, it sounds like that church did not have an active congregation. Because here's the thing. Yeah, I was at the church about every dang night. Literally, if the doors were open, we were there because we had the key. But, there were ladies of the church, and, even still today, I have to watch when I go to Walmart, if we go to Walmart, or if we go to Kroger's, because ladies of the church, who used to be a lot of the church, note this, used to be a lot of the church, these are normally older ladies, grandmas, that level of ladies, took care of the church. I don't see that in churches anymore, except for one separate sect of the church.
Okay.
I still see that in the African American community churches.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yeah.
They still have that built-in community where it's not just one person cleaning a church, it's 5.
Yeah. Well, and that's kind of where I ended up at it with, is like everything's, ending up done by just them. And so there's fundamentally a problem there.
Right.
In that, like, any one of those tasks would have been a phenomenal contribution by a couple to the church. All of those, it's like, what's everyone else doing?
Right.
Like, this is either the like this church has to be massive. And y'all have got so much going on there, it's just insane.
And it's thumping. Which back in the 80s, I can remember that little old church up here in Oak Hill being thumpa. We had youth programs. We had school tutoring classes. We had after-school programs. This was before they had gymnasiums and schools there at the church. And then we had prayer meetings, and we had in-home visitation ladies going on, and we had quilting bees going on to sew blankets to send to our soldiers. I mean, it was thumpa, but it wasn't just everybody. I mean, it wasn't just our little family trekking along here going, okay, yeah, we'll vacuum this and we'll polish. No, it was a very involved church. I don't see that now.
Right.
It's kind of like one of the things, there's 2 things that I look forward to every year that is left over from my Christian life. I look forward to those peanut butter Easter eggs. Now, granted, the ones they're selling this year isn't the same church. They're smaller.
That's okay. We supported a good group, didn't we?
We did. It's the Somerville Church of God. They do Easter eggs every year. They're delicious. They're homemade. But dear gods, when Nazarenes used to do it, before they built their big gymnasium for kids and everything, honey, I bet there were 40 cars in there on Monday night. And I'm sure every one of them, not counting the ones that got dropped off because they don't drive anymore, they never drove.
Yeah.
It was a project. And it's like the bake sales and the cookie sales and the hot dog sales. I don't see them anymore. And if I do, I'll stop and support them. Like, I'm sorry, there's nothing that beats a Pentecostal or a Nazarene cake, and there's nothing that beats a Pentecostal lady or a Nazarene lady's hot dogs.
Hey, there you go. Oh, but Shannon says, I ran into an issue of working yourself to death for the church and then an identity of exclusion of anyone who is different. That's what turned me off.
Right.
Yeah. Yeah. Like, there's a lot of that going around. Like, they they will work, so to speak, they'll work a good horse to death.
Well, and it's because they don't have horses.
Well, and that's kind of where I was like getting ready to lead to is I wonder how much of this is this is why.
Yeah.
Like, this is why if you show up at a church now, it's not just going to be like, come get edification, like be like, come to the church that's going to be everything you wanted it to be. It's, now, oh, thank God, young blood, and they circle like sharks. Like, oh, can you do this? Can you do that? Can you do these 5 other things? Can you do this? Can we expect you on Sunday morning, Sunday night, Sunday afternoon, Wednesday morning, Wednesday afternoon?
Right.
Also, there's a bake sale.
Right. But the other part of that is I think that, and I saw this starting as Dad was getting ready to retire, the community started falling apart. Like we can't tutor children anymore. We can't run an after-school program. Well, we want to do Bible study, but, and this is what happens. Communities fall apart. Communities start bullshit.
Well, and in any large group, you're going to run into that. That's one of the things I've always told about my time with UNCG Pride. Gay student or gay, lesbian, bisexual, trans, blah, blah, student organization at the University of North Carolina at Greensboro. Yay! Give them a shout out. But no, like we would have people come in and they're wanting things, but no one wants to do things.
Right.
Like it's kind of like, here's an idea and I want you to go do this. And the first thing I finally got to a point, like I did it for like a short minute, and I went, oh no.
Right.
Like, here's my budget, like, that big.
Right.
And here's my time, about that big. I think these ideas are great. I'm already tapped out. Like, I have a lot going on. I'm enrolled in classes. I am working. I am, like running the student organization, or part of the group that's running the student organization. I have my own weekly meeting every so often to plan, organize, and handle and figure out how the hell we're going to pay for, usually my wallet. And I think your idea is great, but I need more than an idea. Who's going to do it? Where are you going to do it at? How much money do you need? What resources do you need and when? Like, help me help you. Give me a plan. You don't have to have a complete plan. I will gladly sit down with you and we'll figure out the things you can't accomplish on your own and how to get them. But you can't just keep like coming in like this is a landfill and dumping ideas on me. Because I can't do all of this.
Right.
Like, and we as an organization can't just keep taking your ideas. They're really good. Like, they were really great. But it's like, I can't be the only one doing this. Like, I can't be the only one showing up for Mother of All Mailings. I can't be the only one showing up for, Drag Queen Bingo. I can't be the only one showing up for this and that and this and that and these other. I'm tired. Like, you've seen our slate of events for the year. Like, I can't do that. And we have to redo a constitution. That was its own drama. But that was the point. I hit a wall, and I'm like, no, bring me a plan. Doesn't have to be a fully fleshed plan, but bring me a plan. I will contribute what resources I have to it that I can. I will gladly help you find resources. But you also have to accept that maybe you're the only one who thinks this is, something they want to contribute towards.
Right.
Like,
or attend towards. And, and I see that, and, that's why when I look at the pagan community, and we've built the Mountaineer Pagan Nexus to work within resources to get things going on. And to be there to help and to network with things. So I don't think the church is dying. I do think it's reducing in size. I think that it's moving as the church is moving. And then stuff like this, it really turns people off. Like this past election, I'm quite sure a lot of people walked out of church and said, I ain't going back to that again. I ain't part of that moment. That ain't me. That ain't where we stand at. And it's like, whew. All right. So moving along, and if you guys have questions or comments, we love having them. Absolutely.
Like, sorry, I know we've got good topics tonight, but y'all don't have to sit there afraid.
Yes. So let's move into your tech article first.
Oh, fun. Oh. You find Italian mafia fugitives in the weirdest places. Like a YouTube cooking show. So, a fugitive who was evading police since 2014 was arrested last week because they recognized his tattoo from a YouTube cooking show. Yeah. I don't. What is it with people who don't get this stuff? It's an identifying mark,
right?
Like, how? But yeah, so apparently he was wanted for trafficking cocaine. And subsequent, like he had been on the run since 2014. But so yeah, he's had a good long run
Right.
until he started a cooking show with his wife
On YouTube.
on YouTube.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Who is trading these people?
Well, but we see that happen though. Like that's the thing is like, and it doesn't mean their content was bad. I'm sure you can, run cocaine and a wonderful cooking show. You know,
Production's kind of the same though. But what I'm thinking about here is, okay, John Gotti, top U.S. mafia person in a couple of decades. Wouldn't have his photo took unless it was by the press. Didn't have a phone in his house. Used a burned cell phone. Had conversations.
Cocaine and cookies.
Outside of his house. Would have never done this. Refused interviews. Would have never done this.
Yeah.
Did he, like, I thought the Don and the Dons in general, there was this big long list of things that mafia people do not do. And then people on the run do not do. You don't go on TV when you're on the run.
One. Yeah. If you're going to try to evade police for, ever, basically the idea is you have to disappear. Like you got to treat this like witness protection. Like you cannot have contact with people you had contact with before. Like, didn't we all watch this show? Like, we've seen this in movies. These are some basics.
Well, let's cover this.
Like,
if you are on the run, you have to abandon your whole life. That means you do not hide in your girlfriend's closet, which we've seen. You do not appear on your wife's cooking show. You do not go around your wife. You tell your wife to meet you somewhere else because you already have a life set up for her. You do not keep your natural hair color or hairstyle. You change your name. You change your social security number. You change your life. You leave the country and stay out of the country that you are a fugitive from justice in. Like, I know criminals are stupid. This is why I like watching murder shows, because it's like, yeah, you decided to keep the dang shovel? No. You don't use a credit card at Walmart to buy a shovel.
Crime is priceless. And by priceless, I mean you can buy a new shovel. It's a lot cheaper than a murder defense.
Exactly.
I mean, just general theories one needs to think through. Like murder is not a time for frugality.
No.
Like, let's just all agree on that. Like, this is a really bad time to be frugal. Like, you don't buy the cheap tarp. You don't get the dollar store duct tape. You like, spend a little.
Right.
I mean, these are things, like, I would think you would figure out, but, which I'm sure after your first murder, not that you get a second one if you're cheap the first time around, but I would think you would think through and go, now's a bad time to be frugal.
Okay.
Like, now's a bad time to like, for instance, now's a bad time to run a stoplight, with the dead body in the trunk. General theory. Always make sure you have plenty of gas in the vehicle. Yeah. Just in case someone wakes up because you didn't do a great job at, killing them. Things.
Ashley. But no, come on.
Oh, so hell, I'm sorry, Ashley. That's a hell of a moment to come in onto our show at.
But this fugitive
with murder.
The easiest way to get away with murder is make single cyanide and, salad dressing.
No, this is the easiest way to get away with murder. Kids in the hall.
Still not working.
Oh, and Ashley has a question. Awesome. Yeah, stay out of Walmart. Hi, Devin's got it.
Walmart,
stay out of Walmart.
Place.
Only pay in cash. Like if you're going to kill someone, have some cash on hand. You're going to need it. You know, like if you're going to claim you were at home all night, don't go swiping your credit card at 2 a.m. at the gas station.
Right.
Like, otherwise, you got to come up with a story and witnesses, which means you've now got to bring a third party into this because you got to have an alibi.
Right. And your best friend normally ain't that good at lying. But no, this fugitive, he knew he was wanted by Interpol. He knows that Interpol scans YouTube and social media for facial recognition. This has been a fact since the early 2000s. I remember reading the news story.
Yeah, Shannon, exactly. It's only murder if there's a body. Otherwise, it's a missing person. There you go.
Well, that depends on how messy your crime scene is. That's why poison is easier. It's less messier, at least.
Well, yeah, like drag people out into the woods, okay? If you're going to murder them, go to a nice secluded area. Don't do this at home. Like, seriously, do not try this at home.
Yes. So,
like, just a theory. Just a theory. Oh, is that what that's about? I keep seeing Ashley's asking, are we talking about Don't Fuck with Cats?
I don't know.
I don't know. I haven't watched that one yet. No, we're just talking in general on a mafia story. Guy got busted because of his identifying tattoos because he decided to do a cooking show with his wife.
On YouTube.
On YouTube. Yeah. Like things you don't do when you're evading arrest.
Exactly.
But yeah.
Yeah,
but
you don't.
How are these things that like, is it you? I swear there was a divider line. If you're smart enough to get away with murder, like 99.9% of the time, you're not going to do it. But if you're too stupid to get away with murder, oh, you're going to try this at like the 20 percentile.
Mm-hmm. But like, again,
how does that work?
Okay, he was running cocaine and was a mafia person. He should have gotten the Dawn Book of Trading. And ooh, Ashley, thanks for the recommendation. I will check it out. Don't Fuck with Cats. Yeah. Apparently scared her, so I'll check it out because I'm running out of true crime. Like, you know, ID needs to hurry up and produce some new content.
Mm-hmm.
And hello, if you have tattoos and you are running from the criminals, your third stop after the hairdresser should be the tattoo shop. You need new tattoos.
Well, yeah, like, again, these are not times to be frugal or attached sentimentally to something that is personally identifying.
Yes.
Like, you know, that, like, you know, turn your great big giant tattoo on your arm into something unrecognizable.
Mm-hmm.
Like, you know, hi.
Yes.
Like, don't do laser removal. Everyone thinks laser removal hides it entirely. No, it just pulls the pigment, but doesn't. It still scars, and you can sort of see it.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Get something over it.
I mean, dude could have been in long sleeve shirts. Like, do you think his wife would have cared?
No.
Like, she would have put, like, was she really going to put two and two together?
Well, unless he was doing bear cooking, which, by the way, is a great YouTube channel.
What?
Bare naked cooking.
Is this like a lot of like strategically placed pots and pans?
No, it's a strategically placed apron.
Ah, okay. Sorry. Just curious. All right, so getting back to the other things going on.
Let's get back to Ashley's missing money.
Oh, yes. So, Ashley, $826.96. Where's the $100 that went missing from under my urn? It's the urn of her daughter.
What's weird is I think it got brushed off. And I know that sounds stupid, but I feel like it's probably behind a bookcase.
Okay. So, like, cleaning accident?
Cleaning accident, behavioral accident, or your daughter's decided you don't need to spend it right now. And she's been probably taking lessons from that one.
Financial planning advice from the other side.
But no, look
Sorry,
behind
not to make light of the situation.
Not to make light of the situation, but look behind a bookcase or cube station because it's literally just right behind their laying.
There we go.
Okay. So I have for a while said it is not time to not time to buy a house. No leprechaun came and took it. No greasy monkey has been in your house to take it. It's there on the beige carpet.
Oh, fun. So yeah, so you were excited with this one. And this is a hell of a title.
Yes.
76 all cash offers on one home. The housing madness shows no signs of slowing. So yeah, CNN, God love them. They do find some interesting stories, don't they?
Mm-hmm. And no, Barbara was not involved in the selling of this house, although she has been known to pull these stunts. Apparently, the housing market is a seller's market. It is not a buyer's market. If you're looking to make your money last, do not buy a home right now. I would wait 7 months before you even look at buying a home, and that is after COVID.
Mm-hmm.
Because we need to get some stuff on the market, and the stuff that's on the market is not worth the money it's going for. Right. Now, it's kind of like this house. When I bought this house, it was a buyer's market. I paid $27,000 for it, and that's after mortgage, taxes, and all of that crap. I think the buying price was $16,000. We're now at $72,000. And climbing because, I get contacted all the time because it's a free clear house. Take out a mortgage, sell your home and upgrade. And I'm like, no.
Yeah, the joys of owning property, right?
Yes.
Oh, but yeah.
When it gets to 122, I will sell.
Mm-hmm. Hey, it sounds like this might be the market for you.
No, it's not. It's only at 72, and we still have some upgrades to do.
Okay. But
yeah. But no, looking at this, it's just like utterly ridiculous. 76 in cash offers, which is amazing. Congratulations, buyers. This isn't the time to buy.
Well, wait, congratulations, seller. That's a lot of offers on a home.
Right.
Like most people get excited. Most people just get excited with the one offer that sells it.
Right. Now
this is a bidding war.
It is. Now here's the full story. Here's another one and it's Ellen Coleman, Hello Real Estate Lady of the Year.
Mm-hmm.
She listed a fixer-upper. That means that there is damage to the home that has to be fixed before you can move in.
And it's apparently obvious enough that even a realtor can't spin it into a feature.
Exactly. For $275,000 on Thursday. By Sunday, she had 88 offerings in her hand signed with deposits.
Mm-hmm.
And the offers keep coming in. I feel like Lucy at the Chocolate Factory, I think.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
And basically there wasn't even enough time for all the visitors or for all the bidders to visit the property. 15 were sight unseen.
Exactly.
Sight unseen. $275,000 for a house that a realtor is calling a fixer-upper.
Right.
Like, I don't know, I'm sorry, but I've seen, from the seller side, the realtor spin of what I would have called a fixer-upper.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like, no! Like, they have whole vocabularies that have their own meaning. Like, all these words have their own meaning. Outdated and in need of upgrade is, vintage or, charming.
Right.
Like, it gets me. Like, I want to see pictures of this property for $275,000.
Right. Well, and it's gone for $460,000. This 4-bedroom, 1,800 square foot, went for $460,000. They asked $270,000. What?
1,800 square foot, 4-bedroom?
Yeah,
It's got to be 2-floor.
it is.
Okay, sorry. I was just visualizing that, and because 1,800 square foot is where we're at.
Yeah.
We can throw a couple of bedrooms in the attic. That's where we're at. In terms of that square footage. That's the only place we could squeeze 2 more bedrooms. Because yeah. That would just be a lot. Oh no. Apparently it's not meant to be found right now.
Okay. Keep an eye on that area. No, this is looking at the pictures of this property that we're talking about.
Mm-hmm.
We have more land. This is literally a 4-bedroom squashed onto a little tiny area subdivision.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's just literally people are that desperate for homes right now.
Right.
And I think we kind of all expected this to happen over the last year.
Mm-hmm.
Is that right now, you have a lot of people that are, there's kind of a squish on the rental market.
Mm-hmm.
There's, not a lot of people in the middle of a pandemic looking to move.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? You don't new home sales would be easier. Never lived in, go to your local development and here's your HOA and,
right.
Pretty once the grass grows in and the tree gets more than 2 foot tall. Somewhere down the road.
In 10, 20 years. That would be great. But no, this is a older cookie cutter home that was in a it's in a subdivision. So that means it was a development 30 years ago.
Mm-hmm.
Who knows what problems it has, but they just spent almost $250,000.
No, they spent more than $250,000. Well, they spent almost $500,000 for it.
Yeah.
On a house that was worth barely over $250,000.
Well, I don't even think it was worth $250,000 other than it's in DC. That house here would be like $30,000.
Maybe.
Yeah.
Yeah. Depending upon what level of fixer-upper.
Mm-hmm.
Because we've seen some in West Virginia that I'm like, that's a knocker downer. That they're still trying to go, has his charming house. Mm-hmm. That's what I'm saying is I crack up reading real estate listings. It's this is what I'm seeing, and these are the words that are being used to describe it.
Right.
What the heck?
Right. Now, what I do not like is seeing on here is how much home can you afford? We need to switch this focus. It's not how much home you can afford. It is how much home do you actually need?
Well, now sometimes those are different things.
Yes.
Sometimes you need a 10-bedroom house, but you got 2-bedroom closet, subdivide a shoebox of income.
Mm-hmm.
And that's a thing that I think we do have to focus on, because if you go back just a little over a decade,
mm-hmm.
A good bit more, about 15 years, that's what created the housing bubble.
Right.
That ultimately burst is people were being approved for mortgages for houses they could never have afforded.
Right.
Just because we were playing with the mortgage numbers.
Right. And we were doing this, how much can you afford? It's not how much you can afford. Because some people have some really great jobs and some people have some really great income. No, you need to look at what you need. If you are a single person, you need a 2-bedroom. If you are a family of 4, you need a 3-bedroom. You do not need to go and get a one with a big bottom basement and a spacious pool and a deck and this and that. Those are all cutesy things that you can build on your own.
And no, those are we're talking about need.
Want
is a different category.
Yes.
And I get that. And it's one of those things. I have seen a lot of people kind of buy the house they think they should have.
Right.
Like that they think they ought to have.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like, but did you need it? Like,
Mm-hmm.
why did you buy it?
Mm-hmm.
Like, because I remember during the bubble having coworkers going, "Oh, you're stupid for renting. You're throwing your money away." And I'm looking at real estate going, that house isn't worth that.
Exactly.
That house isn't worth it.
Right. Well,
And how the hell would I pay a mortgage on that?
Mm-hmm.
And it's like, oh, but I can get approved. Like, you'll approve me for financing. Like, and at the time, just full disclosure, I had horrible credit. Turns out so did everyone else. The bank didn't care.
Mm-hmm.
Fundamentally. Because they would give you a loan for the down payment and then or basically a short-term mortgage for the down payment, and then a different mortgage for the house itself, and would configure it in a way that ultimately you were only going to be in that house for a few years before you lost it.
Yeah.
While the house isn't even worth the money that it was selling for. And they were approving these like as fast as they could. They were taking like at best a $75,000 to $100,000 home with like a 100 to 200% markup, and then they're doing like they're allowing people that can't even afford that house to be like on a good day to get the house with crazy financing. Like we're just going to do crazy.
Right.
And make the numbers work so that your payment today will fit your income. But a few years from now, we're going to get an asset back that we can resell, thinking that the prices would just keep going up. And so we basically the bank was thinking we're going to basically, take this idiot's money for a while, and then we're going to get an asset back that is already appreciated in value. And we're going to do the same thing again. And ultimately, we're going to resell that house 10, 15, 20 times.
But see, here's the thing, and this is what people need to understand. It's like us. It would be nice for Joe to have a conference room and a dining room. We don't use that room the same day. Well, the same way every day. The most useless room in our house, and I've debated on, and it's the one room that we've yet to decorate because it may not stay decorated as it is. Is our living room. We're never in there. The cats live in there.
Basically.
Yeah.
Like the dog loves the recliner.
Exactly.
And that should tell you everything you need to know. And this is an 1,800 square feet.
Yeah. And
like,
there's 3 viable adults living in this house. Yeah.
So yeah, and it's one of those things like you don't necessarily realize it. It's why I've liked the tiny house movement.
Yes.
Not solely in the mindset of, ooh, I thought I wanted a tiny house for a while. I'm not quite there, but I like the mindset of tiny houses. Is okay, what do you need? How can we make multifunctional space without, that's convertible? And how can we make your space work for you?
Right.
Like, because you can, as we've seen demonstrated in the tiny house movement, you can do a hell of a lot with like 300 square feet.
Right.
10 by, like
10 by 12, you can build a whole house in. 10 by 14, 10, no, what is it? 12 by 24, I can build my whole house in.
Oh, Shannon has stuff to send me. Woo.
Well, check Shannon, send it to me first because I may already be subscribed to it because there is a lot of me that would love tiny houses. I love pod houses.
Yeah, like I briefly got, like I was seriously contemplating, and this was before we got together, way before. But in that process of taking care of my grandmother and knowing that at some point I've got a life after this.
Mm-hmm.
I got really into the Minimum House.
Mm-hmm.
Like, that was a floor plan that made perfect sense for me.
Mm-hmm.
Like, it's convertible space. It has an office and a bedroom and a bathroom and it's not as tiny as it could be. Like, it wasn't like the super mini, like,
Mm-hmm.
put it on the back of a tiny car, and meet down the highway with it. But it was, it was reasonable.
Mm-hmm.
It was a small it was basically a studio apartment with a phenomenal layout. Like, hi, can we talk about apartments for a minute?
Mm-hmm.
And the length of space those usually are.
Right.
That we end up getting a 1-bedroom apartment just because we need better functioning space, not because we need that much space to begin with.
See, I always had huge apartments. Like, my apartment was larger than this house.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
No, never did I ever have that.
Yeah. Well,
situation.
I always also rented older buildings.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I didn't want the new fancy building. I wanted the older walk-up buildings. They had huge spaces. Heck,
Mm-hmm.
my office would fit in my closet.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Well, like, no. Well, and I ended up with one older apartment.
Mm-hmm.
And no, it was a shoebox. It was 500. It was 550 square feet.
Mm-hmm.
Was my first apartment, and I swear to God, it was a perfect rectangle subdivided.
Mm-hmm.
I had a living room and a kitchen, and then you had to go into the bedroom, which had a faux hallway, with a closet here and the bathroom door there.
Mm-hmm.
And then you had the rest, you had the bathroom and a walk-in closet. Talk about the worst name thing ever. That was not a walk-in closet. It was a be found dead in later walk-in closet. Like,
hey, office.
No.
Yes.
No, you could not have gotten a chair through that door.
You don't get to put the chair in the door. You leave the chair in the bedroom. You put the desk in the door.
No, it was a literal, basically, it was the back part of the bathroom.
Uh-huh.
Like, half the apartment, but only like this wide.
Okay.
Like, the door is just like into it. It was tiny.
Mm-hmm.
Tiny.
But no, guys, listen to me. If you are looking to buy a home, save your money, wait about 7 months, 8 months, let things open back up, and people actually put stuff on the market that's worth a price.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's like, don't never be in a rush to buy a home.
Nope.
If you can, I mean, there's life situations that happen, and you just you have to find something.
Rent.
I get that, but if you can at all avoid it, now don't even.
Right.
Don't even try to find a home. Nothing can happen, at least.
Mm-hmm. Well, apparently Mother Moon has been up to it again.
Ah. Oh, did we finally get the ship free?
Yes, finally.
Oh.
I don't know how a ship gets stuck in a canal. Like, that is controlled water.
Well, it's controlled water, but it's not controlled like waves.
Right.
Like, and that's what happened is ultimately there was a storm, windy, gusty, churny water, got the ship sideways, and basically ran it into the bank on the side of the canal.
Right.
So
and stopped up the canal completely, which was ridiculous. And I'm like, okay, let's see what they're going to do with this. Well, luckily the moon pulled enough of the tide in to help move the ship.
Yeah, an additional 18 inches of tide water.
Right.
Above normal.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah, it helped immensely.
Yep. So witches that were calling on the moon to help, she did.
There you go.
Yep.
I love it. Like, I'm glad that is reopened. That has thrown a lot of the world into chaos.
Right.
Like, it's one of those things we don't realize how much of our world is still reliant on ships sailing on water.
Mm-hmm.
Like, this is a primary form of moving things from country to country and place to place. And in a world that is built entirely on, parts from here and parts from there and parts from this other place, and manufacture it here but ship it there, it's a very important thing when we have problems with any of the routes for ships.
Right.
Like, and it's one of those things we don't even think of.
Right.
It really is. All right, so Devin had a question.
Okay.
Devin 31678, are my best friend Priscilla and I connected in a past life?
Take a look here. They're jumpy tonight. Someone's got a question they ain't answering it.
Or they
ain't asking it.
Yeah. All right, whoever's sitting on their question, come on.
Yeah. All right, so I would say yes. I would say beforehand, though, you were brother and sister.
There we go. Well, that answers that.
Because when we look at it, we have the Emperor and the Queen of Wands here. I don't know. Let's kind of talk about past life connections, and it happens. People that are in our lives have been in our lives before. They continue to come into our lives. A lot of people call them soulmates. If so, there'd be a lot of them.
Well, the one thing I'll say that I have noticed, and I'm just talking about in like my current life, I keep noticing people repeat.
Right.
Like I have friends from totally different eras of my life. And I'm like, oh my God, y'all have so much in common. Like, it's like I just want to put the two of you in a room together and figure out, are you going to kill each other or be be best friends? Like, I can't figure it out. Like, one of the two will happen, I know. But like, I'll have friends that it's like, I knew someone exactly like you in high school. I knew someone exactly like you in college. I worked with someone exactly like you. Like, I have friends that if you blind read me, like their Facebook posts, I would have been like, that's one of three people. Like, I can tell by the language, I can tell by the style, I can tell by the humor, I can tell by the thing. And I kind of gotten a cause and effect. Like, is it just I like people that are like this? Or is it my life? It just keeps getting filled with this particular person. And that's current. Like, they're all simultaneously living. It's not like this person died in high school and then I worked with them over here.
Right.
Like that kind of thing. I could legitimately put these people in a room together and be like, I want to see this go down. Like, someone's either going to make a new best friend or someone's going to kill someone. I don't know which.
Or both.
Maybe both.
Yep.
But anyway, sorry.
But no, I would say that you guys were sharing in a past life. All right. So when we start looking at some other things going on that I find interesting in my hot takes, I find it interesting that world leaders are calling for a treaty to combat future pandemics. We need one. We need one with a lot of detail in it. All right. What else does Google think I'm interested in?
Ooh. That's always a horrible question to ask Google. Because sometimes Google's uncannily right. And then others, it's like, Google, go home, you're drunk.
Well, top banks are investing over $20 billion in a fire sale of hedge fund assets.
Oh, fun.
Yes.
I find it sad. Like, wasn't it just like a few years ago that everyone was telling you, buy hedge funds, they're safe?
Yeah, they aren't safe. They're measured gambling. It's better to buy what you buy. I.e., if you buy Folgers coffee, go buy General Mills.
Mm-hmm.
All right, so Amazon is having its first union election, and it may stretch into Wednesday for ballot casting. And that is in Alabama. I think that this is a good thing. We had a lot of problems for Amazon workers in general. We've had a lot of problems overall in multiple industries. Warehouses aren't the only industries that need, we see, and I think we also need to have, it's not a union because you don't work for a company, but it is a union because it gives you the benefits of the union. We see this with the Screen Guilds Awards.
Mm-hmm.
Well, the Actors
Guild.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Psychic Guild. I think we need Delivery Driver Guild. Gig Worker Guild.
Independent Contractor Guild.
Yes.
That'd be nice.
Yes. To where you pay a fee, you get insurance. You pay your fees, you get your insurance, you get maybe a retirement plan that you can buy into, not required. You get this, you get that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, and especially if we're going to, like, as we've seen the erosion of the 30 years of work and a pension,
mm-hmm.
And no real good alternative to that. Like, ultimately, employers are getting away with paying employees less in terms of long-term deferred compensation.
Mm-hmm.
And like it totally changes the working environment.
Right.
When you're getting put on the hook for, figure out how much you need to live and how long you may live after retirement.
Right. And then figure out if you can retire. I'll probably still do readings till I'm 80, 90. If I can press one or hit the tappy on the keyboard, I can do a reading. Of course, I don't even have to tappy a keyboard with this new app that Keen's doing. All I have to do is touch, and I can sit there and give you a freaking paragraph, and it sends it.
Mm-hmm.
Of course, by then they will probably have me in holograph, and you can just order a holograph of me.
Should we be scanning you now? Because I something tells me 80-year-old you is going to be like, damn, we should have gotten me while I was younger.
No, we should be getting me when I was 23 and look like, 23 was us, 28, 34 pants. Yeah, I would have been happy then. Scan that. Graphically create that.
Well, but now hold on. That brings up a respect, distinction. Like, how would... Okay, here's my thing, though. You're at a point in your career that you're, like, it is really taken off.
Right.
And some of that is, I'm sure, image-based.
Mm-hmm.
I just want to put that question out there. How do y'all feel about, like, a 20-year-old psychic? Like, seriously, I'm asking. Like, because that's the point you're talking about. 23 years old.
Mm-hmm.
Like, looking good.
Mm-hmm.
But at the same time, like, I would think from my perspective, when I'm looking for someone professionally, I know I'm at age discrimination right now as I say this, but there's a point where it's like, you're a flipping kid. What do you know about anything? What do you know about love and relationships and financial advice and blah, blah, blah?
Honey, it's the same thing when I'm talking freaking cars. The information is not me. It's just flowing out my lips.
Well,
believe me.
Does it play a role?
I think it plays an experience role, but not a life role, like you're thinking.
Well, but then again, you have psychics you look up to.
Mm-hmm.
And at their careers that you aspire to.
Mm-hmm.
And most of them are older.
Mm-hmm.
I'm just going, is it a natural thing that we're gonna, have more respect for an older psychic versus, like, hi, I'm the fresh new, like, I just turned 18, I'm still working on chest hair. But let me tell you, a 50-year-old, about your relationship. Like, is there a moment there? And I don't mean that it's necessarily there's a disrespect for the information that person is getting.
Mm-hmm.
I'm talking about the ability to actually respect someone and work with them and feel comfortable working with them.
Mm-hmm.
Like, is that
I don't
different?
know. I can't. I don't have a vision for that because I have met 16-year-olds that blow me the fuck away, and like they will leave me sitting in the water with some of the stuff that comes out of their mouth.
Mm-hmm.
I've met 8-year-olds that channel information, and it is like, oh dear God, you didn't have to freaking relearn how to communicate with the other world. You just carried it along with you.
Well, and I can get the outliers. I'm talking about like the normal, average day-to-day stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Like, when someone who's 50 and I think may already know,
Mm-hmm.
like, because I've seen you kind of have that moment is, honey, you already know what you need to do.
Mm-hmm.
Like, you have seen every sign. You know the writing on the wall. Why do you need me to read it for you? That when someone's in their 50s and like they're looking at a divorce,
Mm-hmm.
and contemplating that, and is this the right thing for me, and where am I going to end up in this?
Mm-hmm.
Are people as comfortable having that conversation with you as they would be with someone much younger?
Mm-hmm. Brenda, you were the winner of the rabbit contest.
Yes, you properly identified him. You get the 50% off. Yay!
Yay!
We've been waiting for you to come in.
Yes. And, she says depends on how good they are. And that's one of the differences between us, my field, and other fields. We were running a contest for baristas. You get a 50% off a reading, plus your barista discount whenever you want it.
Yeah. Or you can just send him a bag of Planters peanuts, because I think that works out to the difference then.
No, it doesn't. But still,
that's a lot of adding discounts.
Yeah, but in this field, I think it's more based on skill. It's like artistry.
Mm-hmm.
There are some Mother Moseses that are in art, and then there are some 5-year-olds that make Picasso look like he was tripping LSD, which most of the time he was, but that's not the point.
Well, okay, it's not hard to make Picasso look like he was tripping balls. That's kind of... I think you go into Picasso with the expectation he was tripping balls when he did this.
Well, the only way to understand his paintings is either be drunk or high. There's another artist that done that.
Well, there you go. But, yeah, I get your point, though.
Yeah.
That their technical skill and ability far exceeds their age.
Right.
But I just wonder, because a lot of it is also kind of a personal service.
Mm-hmm.
Sort of to a degree, like getting, like seeing a doctor.
We are not doctors. No. We are not doctors. We do not make diagnoses. No.
Not where I was going with that at all. I'm talking about, the Doogie Howser MD effect.
Mm-hmm.
Like, that was a whole popular show. It had its own, commonality of, like the repeated trope of, how can you be any good at this job? Are you like, have your balls dropped yet? Like, you're too young. Like, I'm just wondering if there's a Doogie Howser effect.
I don't know, because Super Doc we got him when he was still in college, in med school.
Dolly is who you're thinking of. Thank you.
Okay.
Brenda got that one. Yeah. You were talking about other artists that they were on something. They had to have been.
Right.
Yeah. Dolly. Yeah. He had to have been.
Yeah.
Beautiful paintings. Salvador Dali, amazing. But, woo.
Or if you listen to some Doors music, if you listen to it sober and straight, and then you listen to it not sober and not straight, and I'm not talking sexual preference. 2 different songs.
True.
But no, I feel like the age is nothing. Because I've met wonderful psychics at 16, and I've met psychics at 80 that couldn't read a paper bag. Literally.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, Jim Morrison, yes. Young Jim Morrison.
Well, see, but you just pointed out. Like, so recording artists, you can have respect for them at different ages.
Yes.
Okay, but like Sylvia Browne, for instance,
Mm-hmm.
like, do you feel that she is the same at the beginning of her career, the middle of her career, and the end of her career? Or do you have greater respect at one end of that career or the other?
I have respect for her full career.
Mm-hmm.
I think that she pushed herself too hard, as we have seen with the other masters, and I think that after the heart attack, she should have stopped.
Okay. So the end of her career, you're kind of like, she should have hung it up.
She should have hung it up, but I think she should have hung it up for different reasons. It's not that she was
not because she wasn't good, but because it was killing her.
Right.
Okay.
Yeah. She was paying the cost.
Okay.
When looking at Edgar Cayce, another one that's wonderful, we see the cost of him not following the directives and agreement that his guides made of 2 readings, 2 deep trances a day. That is all. Mm-hmm. No more, no less. And, he's doing 20 and 30 readings a day, and it killed him. So it's not that I think that older psychics are bad. That's when they get noticed.
Mm-hmm.
But more so, I think that older psychics get pushed harder, and they've got to have harder boundaries, and we've not seen that out of a lot of the famous ones. Now, Teresa Caputo, she's starting to draw some boundaries, which is a good thing. John Edwards came out of the Azasali out of Florida, definitely done some good ones. Her students come in with boundaries like, nope, you're 4 minutes late for your reading. I'm moving on to my next one. Oh, that's 15 for today. I'm out of here.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, I was just curious where that ended up for people.
Yeah.
Like for you especially, but for people in general, like, are they more comfortable? Because we've talked about that.
Mm-hmm.
That some people are like, you just can't connect with them. Like, they're not comfortable with you. They don't like you. Y'all's personalities conflict, whatever it is. Mm-hmm. Like, it happens to everyone. It's not just you.
No.
It happens to everyone.
Right.
Is that sometimes 2 people just bad fit.
Yep.
Like, I'm going to give you information in a way you don't want to hear it, or you're not going to listen to me, so why the hell should I bother?
Mm-hmm.
Like, I can do the reading, but you're not going to listen to me because you're coming into this already looking at me like,
Right.
Mm-hmm.
But again, those are people that aren't what I call my good client or my perfect client. And there's one that I know the one you're talking about, and I wonder, like, that's one I would like a follow up with.
Well, you've had a few like that, because you even talk about one on the show that became a great client,
mm-hmm.
like from one of the parties you do. That the first year he's just kind of like, whatever. The wife or the girlfriend, whichever she was.
Well,
wife wanted to do this, like, all right, I've had enough to drink, I'll go along with it.
Mm-hmm.
And then the next year it was like beeline. Like, yep. I can't find you fast enough.
Mm-hmm.
Year 3, beeline. I can't find you fast enough.
Mm-hmm.
Like, okay, I'm, like, I'm here now. I'm listening. Let me take notes.
Yeah. But no, there are some clients that, and even clients that, that came in not really wanting it or didn't want to hear the information I give them. Because if you guys haven't had a reading with me, I am not your bubbly, super positive psychic. Nor am I the Debbie Downer that goes, honey, you need to go fix yourself. Stop fucking with men. or you're never going to do this because I give honest information. If you don't want to hear honest information, like, yes, he's not talked to you in 20 years, but within 3 weeks, he's going to call you and propose to you. That's not me. I'm not going to tell you that. I'm going to give you real information. But there's a few from one event I done that I would love to see follow up on, especially since I've watched the news come out of some of the things going on in that area and went, wonder if that's what I was talking about.
Was that the country club?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Like, because there was one especially, and I was about to reference her just now. Like, she was the ultimate in, like, because we had to separate, or you had to separate yourself from her real quick and be like, honey, I'm going to move you to a different, because it was a multi-psychic event. I think maybe you'll do better over here.
Right.
Because you started that reading, and one of the first things that came up, if I remember, like, the story, because you like, both of you, the two psychics, compared notes. Like, because it happens every once in a while. And especially in that trade-off situation. Like, like, where'd that go? Because you had made a comment to her that, you have a financial problem, and she got immediately defensive. And it's like, no, I have a financial planner and blah, 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 blah. Like, granted, everyone there heard it because she was, woo, don't you be telling me I got a financial problem. Moved her to a different psychic who basically told her the same thing. Is, honey, I don't know what's going on or is about to happen, but something's about to go wrong with your finances. You really need to talk to someone about them.
Right.
Which she took way better.
Right. Same words.
Basically identical reading, like 2 minutes apart or 10 minutes apart, whatever it took to get her switched. But like just minutes apart, same reading. But because it was a different person and the words were just a little different, she took that a whole lot better than when you said it. And it happens. It like, we've seen this. We've seen the reverse of that. Someone was like set down with that psychic and then had to get moved because it's like, oh no, I can't work with you. Like, you're not, like, you're taking me with a grain of salt and you're not listening and you're not paying attention. You're not getting anything out of this. Like, and you're getting frustrated quick. Let me move you over here. So you can just get smacked upside the head with 2x4. Because I kind of tell people that's how your readings work. Is basically he's going to smack you upside the head with a 2x4 of information. And he's blunt.
At bullet pace speed. Because I get, people are like, and I've gotten this for years, and this is actually why I have a tongue ring now, is people are like, you need to slow down. You need to slow down. Why? You've got 20 minutes to fill. They don't need 20 minutes. They need to get rid of their boyfriend, get a new job, and sell the car. How hard is that? That's not 20 minutes. That's 4 seconds. Give me something to work off of.
Well, and for some people, it is that simple.
Yeah.
Like, and I think some of those are also fall in the category of, like, you already know what you need to do. You have had every sign from a burning bush on down to tell you what to do. Why do you need me to read the writing on the wall to you? What are you doing here? You just need someone to, like, tell you, yes, you are right. You're also pretty and you is smart. And, like, what do you need?
Right. Well, and then I get those others, and these are the ones that I carry with me. I've got a number of clients that, I've read for 18, 30. There's one that I've read for, probably she was my 3rd reading, and she comes to see me at least once a year, and I see so many great things that she's done. And I am like, yeah, I am so glad you done this and this and this and this and this. So I've had a great career. I'm going to continue having a great career. I'm not retiring until I'm at least 80. Maybe 85, depending on how, phones predict.
Well, how good, speech to text stays and, whether or not you can do.
Well,
like, super micro mini phones, I think your career is over.
I don't
Like
feel
we
so.
go to like the tiny little like phones they were talking about at the end of the 90s that we were all going to be carrying these little itsy bitsy baby phones. Or like if we have to like mentally think of a thing to like call because it's an implant, I think you might have a problem.
See, I don't think so. The only problem is I will probably connect with the client and then turn around and can call their mother.
Like call their childhood phone number. Great.
Yeah.
Now suddenly it's a three-way conversation with someone named Doug who just got this number 6 months ago and is like, what the hell?
But no.
That would be an interesting thing to think on, though. That's an interesting thought experiment, is what does it look like if a psychic had mentally controlled technology?
Yeah, I think it'll be interesting. Well, because Google's working on those glasses.
Oh, no, they killed Google Glass.
Oh, no, they're still working on a glass setup.
Okay.
That you're able to, that, maps your eyes and brings up your information and everything. For projected, computer screens and stuff.
Yeah.
Wearable tech. I think it'll be interesting if they actually formulate it completely. Is to see what comes up in the psychic's view, because my reading screen for me is about right here in my vision. A lot of people think that I either that I don't pay attention to them, that I'm rolling my eyes. No, I'm looking at the screen to see what the hell you're talking about.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, and those are things that are important for people to realize. Otherwise, it is kind of off-putting, I'm sure.
Yeah.
But no, I think wearable tech will be interesting in general. I think I'll sign up at the point in which it's contact lens.
Well, what I'm going to find interesting is if it works like the rest of the tech does, i.e., we just bought me another keyboard, guys. Yeah, because the other one was dying. It was on life support.
Well, and there's the bigger question of if it is implantable technology, what is that going to look like when a psychic kills it?
Yeah, and how fast is it going to kill?
Well, yeah, because if you're talking about an implant and you're going to kill it as fast as you kill keyboards, that's going to rack up a lot of surgery bills.
Well, not only that, but if they start interlinking it to our thought pattern, they'll think they're going to try probably in about 40 years. That's going to be scary because the psychic's thought pattern, this has been proved on CAT scans, changes. Half the brain looks like it's gone asleep when you're reading. Like the left side's active, the right side.
Christmas tree, and these other areas just kind of like, we're going to take a nap now.
Yeah, they just go dormant. And what's interesting is it's the same sectors of sleep for the right side of the brain. They go dormant. So the right side of the brain looks like it's asleep. The left side of the brain looks like it's at the middle of a 3D movie attack. So what I'm going to find interesting is how are they going to deal with that?
That's definitely a concern. Well, and especially, I'm looking at it from if it destroys the technology, like if it overloads the technology, if it blows it up inside your body, what is is that going to be like, okay, so psychic not recommended?
Well, it's kind of like it's like when we do circles. I always tell people, leave your cell phone in the other room, take off your watches, because I have had watches die in a circle. In a healing circle, I've had cell phones go off and then die and never work again. Hello, Apple, you need to at least install a metal plating on the back of your phone so that I don't blow it up when I'm casting circle. So I wonder if it's going to be even worse than that, because technology is getting more and more sensitive to biotech energy, which is where I think the psychic energy is at, but they don't understand it yet.
Okay.
So that'll be interesting.
Oh, yeah. We're going to need a date of birth there, Yumi.
Yeah, Yumi, give me your date of birth, and you'll be the last one tonight. Oh, okay. Maybe not. Kayla Johnson, we need a birthday.
Brenda says, you and your cell phone during class.
Yes. This one hasn't done it yet. And it only does it when I'm at Earth Magic. Need a year, Yumi.
Yep. Got to have the year. I think that was an accidental enter.
Okay. Ooh,
all right.
Go with Kayla.
All right, Kayla. Do you see me and my partner getting the? Sorry. 1/3/2002. Do you see me and my partner and I getting the bond back on this rental we are moving out of, or will she have a problem with the damage we patched up? Please and thank you.
Okay. Looking at the move, I don't think it'll be a problem. I think you get the deposit back. I don't think she'll have a problem with it. However, during this move, I want you to keep the relationship going very calmly. No arguing, you two, because you get into it too nasty.
There you go.
Okay.
And I know that's hard. Moves are hard.
Mm-hmm.
All right. So Yumi, 7/26/94. Should I go to Jessica's birthday dinner?
Let's see. Yes, but make sure that you arrive on time. Don't be late.
There we go.
All right, so let's go back up to Brenda's comment. Me and my cell phone during class. I will be teaching a class at Earth Magic, which I love going up and teaching. I really have missed it this year. And my cell phone will just start playing music for no reason. It will ring for no reason. I will have it turned off and it'll turn on for no reason.
Mm-hmm.
And those are more of the spiritual classes when I teach them. Like the scrying class, that was a freaking nightmare. I almost brought my phone out to the car.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, and this is not your phone in your pocket and accidents happen. This is not your phone in your bag and accidents happen.
Mm-hmm.
This is like your phone laying on a table, nowhere near you. Like, it's not in arm's reach of anyone.
Well, it's in my thigh pocket because I wear khakis and it's down there in my thigh pocket.
Okay. Yeah. Well, I mean, because there's things that can happen, but I've seen it happen when it was like it's laying on the table.
Mm-hmm.
No one touched this.
Uh-huh.
Like, it would have, like, we've had classes we videotaped where it went off.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like, you're not anywhere near it.
No.
Like, you're not, it's not in your hand. It's not in your pocket. It's laying on the desk. No one is calling.
Mm-hmm.
And your phone's going off.
Mm-hmm. Well, it's like my new Samsung. It has this motion detective thing that'll, you can set it for gestures or whatever. Mm-hmm. Like apparently shaking it does something or whatever. I can't turn that feature on. I turned it on for 2 hours. The damn thing drove me crazy, and it was sitting charging.
Oh, gosh. Oh, wow. That's a lot. No, yeah. I thought for a second you were going to go up to Brenda's other comment of young Morrison with the leather pants and the mic stand.
Yes, and the scarves.
Oh, on that note.
Yeah. All right, guys. It's been a great evening. We've talked about a lot. Remember to join us Friday evening for Mountain Bears, where we got some stuff to talk about. And I'm quite pissed with Alabama right now. So we will be talking about that. And then, of course, next Tuesday, we have the offer of the gift of the body on. So it'll be a very interesting show. Of course, with author shows, we take questions. The second part of the show, the first part of the show is for the author. Now, if you have a question for the author, that's different. We will ask them that question.
Absolutely.
Yes.
Though we may reserve that till later in the interview. So
exactly.
Don't feel like you're being ignored. We're not ignoring you. We're just finding a good place to pop that in.
Right. Now, I'm going to throw this out there. I know you guys hear this all the time on YouTube, and the 72% of you that watch the show, please do me a favor. Like it. Down there in the box, there's a like or a heart or something pretty. Hit that. If you are not a subscriber to the page, please go ahead and subscribe to the page. That way you get notifications when I upload. And you get a lot of uploads this month because I just done my content calendar. And I just can say it looks like a rainbow. It's got so much on it.
Ooh, awesome.
Yes. Now, Joe, go into how they can support and grow our channel and all that fun stuff.
Yes, well, we love our baristas and the support they give on Patreon. So we do want to thank them, Beverly Walker, Mika G, Kathy, Mary Winfield, Brenda Bryant, and Ashley Guest. If you'd like to support the show or learn more about us and see our wonderful content, please visit PCSPnetwork.com.
Mm-hmm. And become a barista. Come into the break room and get down to some real latte. All right. You guys have a great week. It's going to be a busy week. It's going to be a fun week. Prosperity is going to be with all y'all. But remember, wash your hands, wear your mask, get your vaccination, and come back and see us Friday night. Good night.
Good night, y'all.